So I'm showing you some more of my junk journal. So this is what we got done yesterday. The inside and outside, got the flips. They both flip. This is a card, opens up. And that opens up, so you've got a little pocket. This is the outside. Yeah. Okay, so last night I didn't film this part because I don't know. When people film, sometimes them getting the signatures ready, sometimes it's fun, but a lot of times it's boring. It takes hours. So what I did is I went through all my papers scrapbook papers that I bought, coffee and black tea dyed papers that I've made. I just went through my whole stash of all my papers and picked the amount I wanted to do for my journal and put everything in the order and each signature that I wanted. And even just now, and of course I cut everything to size, but then I just flush cut the sides here because there was a lot hanging out on all of them. So now they're good. And I have them right now paper clipped. As you can see, 4 clips, big paper clips to hold them. So that's signature 1. This is signature 2. This is signature 3. And as you can see, it's not perfect. I could have kept going to make it perfect, but my hands were hurting and I don't care. So this is hanging out because I'm not going to cut this. Because I got it out of that Jan Brat book and it flips open like that. So this isn't a page, it's just gonna go on a page. So I don't know, I still gotta figure this whole thing out, but I'm gonna put that to the side for right now. And I have a little bit of the doily hanging out, but I like it, so. But the rest of it's pretty flushed cut, so yeah. And I have all the paper clips holding the signatures, so the papers don't move, they stay where I've put them. So yeah. So I'm gonna set these to the side now. Okay. And now I'm going to, and I've got some of my other stuff to sew the signatures in ready, but first I've got to get my template ready for my journal. So I like using graph paper. I learned this actually from Paper Terrace and some of my technique from the Paper Outpost as well. I like those channels, as well as Crafty Girl. I love her channel. She also introduced me to Rebecca Hoots. And I just like a lot of different styles when it comes to junk journaling. So this I'm gonna okay. And I'm just outlining it so I can cut it, so I know where to cut it. And I was thinking I was going to do a hidden spine for my junk journal. But that means I have to go around my house and find some cardboard or something to do it with. And I just don't really want to. So I'm just going to do it, and I'm just going to use white wax string and it'll be fine. So now I'm just measuring to make sure my drawing worked. And I just do it not perfect, mostly by feel. Then I also make sure when I do it, it fits in there pretty good. If it doesn't fit perfect, then I cut it a little smaller, because then that'll mean I'll measure. So if it fits the template, the signatures, then it's going to fit the spine of the book a little bit better. So I'm just going to cut it a tad smaller. I'm just following the graph line. That's why I like graph paper for using a template. I like the lines. Okay. And that doesn't fit. Like, I cut a little more off than I usually do, but I wanted to make sure there was plenty. Yeah, see, it doesn't bunch up at all. Yeah, there, it's good. And it leaves some room so I don't get like too close to the edges. So that's good. So now, very important, write a T for top, okay? And then I'm gonna wanna do a hole for my tassel. So I will also draw that on here. So then I learned this technique from Paper Terrace. So I'm just gonna fold it in half. Like that. And then I'm also gonna fold it in half this way. And fold it again. And this just gives me pretty accurate. And some people don't do it super accurate, but I like to. And then see, that gives it in half this way. It gives, so you can see right down the very middle of the spine. And then it gives you these three. And you could put the signatures right on these three. But one thing the Paper Terrace, she does that I thought was a great idea. And she didn't really say why she does it. She just says she likes to do it this way. But she'll like fold this down to like the first fold mark. So it makes another fold there. But the reason I like that she did it, that I do it too, is because I feel then it spreads the signatures out throughout the whole spine. So the whole spine's got the weight of the signatures, not just like from like here down. So it's just here that has it, but you've got this whole spine. So you might as well use as much of it as possible to hold like those signatures so they're a lot more secure. So that's why I like that she did that. And that's why I do it. So now, because I folded both the top and bottom of this, I have the right middle, which I use that. So I use the top, middle, and bottom. And then I also fold it in half so I know exactly where the middle part is. So now I'm going to make my mark. So first I start with the tassel hole. And I don't want it too low, but not too high either. Usually I do it about here or here. Trying to decide which do I want it. I think I'll just do it here. That's usually about where I do it. And that way now I know where the middle is too, so I can get it right where it needs to go. And then I have the middle here, and this is the top line. So I have 4 signatures, so I'm going to decide where I put them. And you can put them like right on like that, but I'm going to do it in between. And I'm just going to do X's. There. That way I feel like it's a lot more evenly spaced from the side and the middle. And then I'm going to do the same over here. And then I'm going to go down to the middle right here and put these in the same spot. And then go down all the way down to this one. Same spots. And that way I don't feel like the whole spine will definitely hold them really well. Okay. So there we go. I've got my tassel spot, which I might still move down. Because I found if I move it too high up when I tie it, it can be like too, like if the spine's really thin, it can like tear it or ruin it over time. This one, let me see. Okay, I wouldn't say, this one's actually pretty heavy duty, so I'm going to leave it where it's at. I'm going to leave it where it's at. Okay, so now I've got my template. And I use it to make my holes on my spine first before the signatures. Okay, so I've got my poking. So I get it all placed where I want it. And then I go to town. Be careful of my fingers. And then I like to poke it all the way up through like that. That way the hole's bigger. Move on to the next one. And this is another reason why I like the template, because then I can just hold it in place and poke my holes. I don't have to think about anything at this point because I've already thought it all through. I don't have to worry if I like space them the right way or anything. Like, it's all done for me, you know? And that's another reason I like graph paper. It like helps you see it in measurement perspective and get it where it needs to be. And I just occasionally keep checking to make sure the paper's straight, because I've had it move on me before and had to re-poke a hole. And that's just not a pleasant experience. So then at this point I turn the book upside down because it's easier to hold it. Okay, again, just make sure it's all lined up. Yeah, I can see the holes, so it's still lined up. Okay, now I've got all my holes poked, see, for everything, including the tassel. The tassel one's up there. Ta-da! And now I'm going to use it for my signatures. Okay, so I start with my top one. And this is why I like folding it this way, so I know right where the middle is, not just for when I'm marking everything, but I like it for this reason. And I can stick this here, make it as equidistant as I can, because obviously it's going to be a little bit longer than my signatures. And then I'm going to find where the top holes are, this first line, but the middle. And then I'm going to poke it through. Ugh. And the same with this one. I just do right in the middle, but find where the holes were made. Just one right through the middle. Oh my gosh. Thick papers. Thick. Oh, this part is hard. Poking through the spine of the book is a lot easier usually than signatures. Okay. Oh, dang it. My paper clip fell off. But that's one reason why I do the paper clips. To make sure to hold the paper steady while I'm poking the holes. See? And now I've got 1, 2, 3. And they're spaced the same because of the template. So that'll make things that much easier. And then I can put it down over to the side, face down, so I can pile these all up on top. And again, I just make sure that they're all paper clipped down and the papers are good. I'm going to do the same thing with all these. Sometimes I like to start with them. Usually, actually, I like to start with the middle hole. And then I go to top, bottom, depending on how I'm feeling. And that's second. And because my last bottom hole was tricky, I want to get it over with. In there. But even if it moves, see, I just line it back up with the hole that I made in the middle, and we're good. Uh-oh. That one, for some reason. Okay, gotta line this back up. Okay, so then I just hold it here and close this as much as possible when it tries to go out of the side like that. There we go. See, it was trying to go out the side right here instead of just right out the middle. So when I start to see that, I just pull back and re-poke the hole, and it's good to go. And my paper clips are always falling off when I'm doing this, but I just put them back on. Okay. There. And I just put them back on to hold the signatures together. It's very important to keep your signatures very much together. So I just push this all in there. Line this up. Okay. Get the middle one first. Make sure stay lined up. All right, and we have one more signature of this. All right, see, 3 holes. 1, 2, 3. All right, more. This, I'm going to make it into a flipper or something, so I don't need to poke a hole in it. Alright, try to line it up. Same old, same old. I just keep wiggling it as I push it through. Okay, last hole. The paper moved a little bit, so I'm just readjusting it. And I've seen some people that they like tape it down, both in the spine and in the signatures before they poke the holes so the paper doesn't move. Which, yeah, like with masking tape or like washi tape or something, so it doesn't ruin any of the papers, which I see why you would do that, but for me, I don't know. I just think it's easier to just not. And see, now it's fully poked around, and I'm just gonna double check where the one hole is. Okay, yeah. That's where the tassel hole is. Okay. Alright, I'm going to put that there. And that's good to go. So now I've got my signatures ready to go. So what I do is I get, this is a wax thread. It's heavy duty. So I just measure. So there's 1, 2, 3, and I'm even going to do a little extra, not much extra, just a little. And then I've got all this, so then I'm going to, oops. Use it to measure 4 of these. So I have the amount I need for all 4 signatures. Because they're all the same size. That's why it's important to do that. Last one. There. Now I've got all 4 ready. The strings. Right. This thing holds my needles that I use for this. And I usually pick the biggest one. So the biggest one. It's got a big, I don't know if you can see that. Big eye. See? It's big. So it's a big needle. And it's morning, so I'm wearing my pajamas, just doing a little bit of crafting before I have to get more stuff done throughout the day. So, and I start with the back number 4, signature number 4. You know, I might take this out and then put it in back in the paper clip after I'm done. So then use it to poke through, get there, and the way I thread it is I leave a little bit hanging like this and leave the long tail. So then you take this, the middle one, in the last row, and you pull that through. And I did measure like things before I cut my signatures, so I knew the height and everything. And then when you pull it through, you just leave a tail, and you want to make sure leave plenty. So then you go back up on this last row to the top one, poke it through, and then you poke it through this top one of the signature. Okay. And then pull that through. Okay. Make sure that's still like that, and then you poke this through this bottom hole for the signatures. Pokes through, and then bottom of that last row. Uh-oh. I almost didn't notice that. That would have been disastrous. Would have had to start over. I hate that when that happens. So you pull this through, and then you go back up to the middle hole and poke through the book, and then you gotta go through the signature again. Try not to go through the thread. Okay. Pull. And then you gotta make sure there's one string on either side of that middle one. Okay. And you pull it so it's tight. Tight, but not like bending the pages or anything. It's tight, and then tie it. So I did right over left. Now I'm going to do left over right, so it's a square knot, because then it's a lot stronger. And then I'm going to do right over left one more time over on top of that. Then you cut it at the desired length that you want. And then at this point you can take all these off, these paper clips. I've seen people not take them off until they're done sewing all the signatures. But you can do that too. But I'm going to leave one paper clip just on the one page so I can paper clip that right there. And then, I mean, the same with this. I liked it on this paper. I don't know. I might glue it like this. I might do that. I don't know. I still have got to decide what I'm doing with that. But see, now it's in real good. Smooth it down. See? Look at that. And I made sure it wasn't too high or too low, like that they were good, like length. So, but leave plenty of room. Okay. So now next string. And I gotta grab my needle, which I put over here on the side. And that's one thing I like about using the tote, like upside down, is it has all these little nooks and crannies. I can like put garbage or put things to hold it for me. So I like that. So when I do that, I make sure to leave plenty of a little tail right there. Okay. Put it through the middle. Through the middle. All right. Leave plenty of a tail through the top hole. I know you can't see, but I need to be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, got it. Hold. I always pull a little extra. So it's... And then for me, the trickiest part is always going back through the middle of the signatures. Not the book, just the signatures. Sometimes they shift and move as you're like sewing, and I've had to sometimes go through one each paper at a time because it's shifted enough that it makes it near impossible. Like right now it's giving me trouble. Ah, got it. Just have to maneuver the pages and the needle and the book, like all three at the same time. And that can be challenging. So again, I made sure that both of these and pull this side a little bit longer. Looks like I fed it through the other thread a little bit. So that's an easy fix once you realize that and see it. Well, usually it is for me. Never had to go through this badly before. Usually I can just pull it right apart. So I fixed the problem. I had to just unthread it and then re-sew it through, so it took me a little bit. So I did it off camera. Okay. Cut off the excess. Oop. There we go. There's signature 2 in. So now I'm gonna get signature. Well, that's signature 3 technically in. The second signature in, but it's signature number 3. So now I'm gonna get signature number 2, but the third one to go in. So through the middle. Middle. Now, sometimes just got to fold the signature to get it in there properly. Alright, go back through the middle. I know you can't see this, but I can barely see, so this one's always the hardest for me to go back through. Like before, I've had to do it like 10 to 20 times. Sometimes I have to start completely over and rethread. Like, it takes a long time sometimes. Especially the more signatures you get in here. got it through, but like I can already see it going through the other thread. So now I'm just gonna pull back just enough to get it out of that thread. Okay, you don't want to splice it through. Okay, and I'll put there. Ugh. See how my paper clips are always falling off. Okay, pull it tight. And right over left. Left over right. And you can just stop there, but I always do 3 knots because I don't know, I seem to think it's gonna work better. I don't know. All right, I only have one more signature. And then it'll be all sewed together. And then I just have to keep adding like pockets and belly bands, tuck spots, and decorate the pages the way I want. And yeah. Even with the paper clips, the papers still like to shift. So that's why it's helpful to have paper clips until you have them on. Oops, sorry, I bumped the camera. Top hole. Sorry, I keep pulling up to my face to see, and it completely keeps pulling it off the view of the camera. Sorry. I'm just trying to, there we go, do this. For some reason, I'm always like sweating when I do this. I don't know why. But I do, I like sweat when I do this. It's a lot of work. Come on. Through. And now the hardest part that I dread with all of the signatures. Going back through the middle. Gosh. Just go through. Okay, finally got it through. Pull it tight. Right over left. Left over right. And back right over left. It's upside down right now. I had to get it how I... Okay. All right, I got all the paper clips off pretty much. So there it is. Like, it's already quite full, as you can see. I left some of these out so I can hang charms. And that's just the doily sticking out, but yeah, so there it is. Right. perfect. Okay, so that's me sewing it in. The signatures, so now they're all ready to go. So I just can start doing the fun parts now. Not that all this hasn't been fun, it has, but I can do some of my favorite parts now. See, there's the sewing. You can barely see it because it matches the lace. It's white, but I like it. It's pretty. So, yep. There we go. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.